Very proud of the game our kids played on Saturday. Showed a lot of class, showed a lot of character, the way we competed in the game, kept our poise in the game, just kept playing the next play. I thought the defense was outstanding throughout the day. Had given up only one drive in the game, really, and then did a great job at the end, and then having a lot of pride at the end, not letting them get in the end zone. That was a very good team. Quarterback's a good player. Thought we pressured him very well on the day, affected him. Played the runs very well, kept good leverage on the ball offensively. They shot ourselves in the foot with some penalties early, got some down and behind, some down and distances, caused us in some bad situations, and then and had a couple turnovers. We moved the ball, stayed in the game early, and then got in the groove in the middle of the second quarter, and then the rest of the game did a real nice job moving the football. I still had a couple opportunities there, had a pressure, wish we could have got the ball out a little quicker and not had a turnover, and can't maybe they all missed the short yardage on the other one. That had a little pass that was open and we didn't, but could have scored every drive again. But very proud of those guys. Where they battled back, that was a very physical team. They had a really good defensive front. Their front four very good. Linebackers were good, solid players. They had a couple good corners, safety, and they were ninth in the country in defense. So we had put up 437 yards in 3 quarters and 27 points right there unanswered. So I was very proud of those guys in that regard. Thought the kicking game was outstanding. Thought we did a great job. They were first in the conference in giving up punt returns, and I think punt return was set up a lot of field position in the game. We did a real nice job of getting space for Bobo and getting him some running room. Thought we punted the ball pretty well. The punts were effective, not as well as he has kicked it all year, but they were effective at a 43-yard net. Thought we covered kicks really good all day, especially on the punts and the kickoff. One kickoff come out just a little bit, but otherwise we covered him well. Had a good solid kicking game day. So from that standpoint, was very proud of the way the guys played. And that was coming off a tough loss, and then the adversity early in the game to battle back and control the game like we did against a very good opponent. I was very proud. Now we got to put that one behind us and focus on Chattanooga. Again, senior day. Very proud of these seniors, but this Chattanooga team is going to be a national playoff team. They have been for the last couple of years. Very good team. Throw the ball. The quarterback's returning conference player of the year. Can make plays. They can throw it. They can run it. A lot of different formations. Defensively, always effective. Play a 4-2-5 front. Excellent football team. Have played really well. Lost a tough game to Jacksonville State early in the year, and we know what Jacksonville State battled Auburn right to the wire. Had them all the way. So this team is a team that's used to playing 1A team. Used to having success, so we will have to play an A game, and that's what I'm worried about. Us getting better, continuing to play well, compete well in the game, and get better in practice in the things we do. But they're looking forward to the opportunity, and also for senior day, to send these seniors out in a great note, what they've accomplished in these last 4 years, winning almost 91% of their games. Could be the 48th, this is going for their 48th win this weekend, at 47. That's a lot of W's in a short time span. That I think that goes along with only 5 losses. So I mean, it's been a heck of a run for these guys, and a tribute to what these guys have meant to this program and what they've done. And hopefully we'll have a great crowd, which I know we will, and send these seniors off the right way. But more important, we got to put all those things behind us and get ready to play and get better. We have a lot of we're banged and bruised a little bit, not terribly bad, but we'll get ready to go this time of year and hopefully keep getting better and finish out the season strong. Questions?
Reevaluating the game, can you explain how Sean did, what your thoughts on his
Played solid, had some mistakes in the game. On some checks and things, but his energy and his enthusiasm, his toughness staying in there, and we got into a rhythm, and we made a few plays after that, and we quit the penalties. We didn't put ourselves behind the 8 ball. A lot of the other things came too. We had penalties, put ourselves behind the 8 ball a couple times, and some down and distances, which caused us to do some things that are hard to overcome. And they capitalized on them on their defense, which, like I say, they're a top 10 defense in the country. So, but Sean did a real nice job managing the game. But then he made plays. He stood in there and really delivered the ball, took some shots. Everett did too earlier in the game. But just got us in a rhythm, got confidence. We got the running game going, and just played an outstanding football game. I thought he played extremely well.
Will Sean be the starting quarterback?
Yes, he'll start going in based off what he did in the last game. And now he's not known Everett be right there with us, and there's a lot of ball left to play. I think he's had an outstanding year for us. It's been a big part of why I'm glad he's here, and I'm still glad he's here. There's a lot of football left to play.
So would that be something where he'd come into the mix if you thought a week that it was a better matchup for Everett?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to start and play the guys we want to play. Sean's our starting quarterback as of right now, by what we're doing. And hopefully he'll continue to play well, and we won't have to relive that. But I've been very pleased with Everett's performances. He had one tough quarter and a half all year, really. It was disastrous that as far as making a couple tough plays. But some of those situations he was put in was self-inflicted wounds by our offensive football team around him too at times. So, but I've been very pleased with him, very happy with him, and get ready to go.
How's Freddie Stevenson doing?
Actually responded real well. Actually, they said pass an impact test already, which is early in the week to be able to do that, but we'll still have to evaluate and keep him out and and see what goes on. But as you see, when he's not in there, it's a big part of us.
You mentioned,
How did Patrick do in place of him?
Just solid. And it really wasn't in place of him because he was still rotating. We were always going to play the two tailback systems when he got healthy enough to practice. But he did a better job. He did a nice job in the game. And there were some things in that game. He went to fullback and ran some nakeds, on the short yardage play, that 4th and 1. He stuck it up in and hit that backer right in the mouth now. Did a heck of a job. Created enough space for us to get up in there, did a real nice job with the O-line. And then he and Dalvin in the backfield did a nice thing. Now, I know, give you a little note on Dalvin, what kind of guy. That guy is breaking every record known to man. He's in the backfield back there a couple times. We had some runs called. They could have very easily in that two tailback system. He could get the ball. And Jacquez just, I think was just making sure on his blocking assignments because he hadn't done that a lot where he's blocking and doing all that. Dalvin said, go over and run the ball, let me block. How many? You talk about a team guy. You talk about a guy who has character. You talk about a guy who's not worried about himself or thinks about himself. And what a team player that is now. And of course, Jacquez had a couple big runs off of that. Those could have been yards for Dalvin at times because you think the bigger back could block. But they don't care. That was a very good moment in our team, and I think reflects who we are.
Did you know he was that in conversations on the sideline, or when they were in the huddle?
I can watch and see.
Oh, right.
I can know what's going on and talking, and Dalvin just taking that role because he's been in that role before, and Jacquez has, but just till you do it a couple times, you know what I'm saying? And then Jacquez blocked later and did a good job, but early a couple times, and just letting him run the ball.
Dalvin also had that block on Everett's run, at least run 50.
Oh yeah, but they're just team guys. Like remember how Jameis used to do it? They're in that same personality as far as, all right, we're going to be great. We're going to be great for our teammates. We're not going to be great we're going to be great for our teammates, and that's kind of his mentality.
Jimbo, who was your best offensive lineman on Saturday, graded out wise?
Probably Mavetti.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Chad, and playing at tackle. A new position. Guy's a talented guy now. He's going to be good. I was pleased. Like I said, after Kareem R settled in and got a little motion in him, and they got a couple right there in a row, and he settled in, played a solid game. Wilson had a solid game. The center, Eberle's going to be a really good player now. He's doing a real nice job. And, of course, Big Rod played a solid football game. But Mavetti is a very, very talented guy.
Moving forward, is that a place he might stick?
He can be a guard or tackle, guys. We have to get right now, most definitely. Right now, most definitely. But in the future, I think he has potential to be either one and play at a high level at either one.
defensively, Elliott had another great game. What did he do to stand out or in that scholarship? And maybe did you ever expect him to play on that big of a stage?
Well, it's funny. To go out there and say he's going to play on that stage, you don't know that. But the guy earned it in practice by what he did every day. It doesn't surprise me he's doing this because he actually did it in practice on scout team. Then when he had his reps as a chance as a backup, when we moved him over there, he was doing it then. But to take it to it's a whole nother thing. Like you see a lot of those young players take it in practice all the time and do it. Boy, it takes time to evolve to the field, a year or two sometimes to get used to all that. Well, he didn't have that, and he knows that. And it's quite remarkable to me of how he's playing and what he's doing. But he prepares like that. He practices like that. I said last week the defense had, what did I say last week? They had some of the best practices I've seen. I was extremely high on the way they practiced. And it's starting to click about the preparation and the intensity of preparation and the mindset and practice that you can carry to a game. Because when you can take yourself to that level, the game becomes easy because you're not separating the difference mentally. You know what I'm saying? And enthusiastically. And that's the way they practice. The way they played this week is the way they practiced all week last week. And you say, well, why don't they do it all the time? Well, if I had that magic dust, I would do it all the time. But you talk to them, and sometimes it's just an evolution. You know what I mean? To understand it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, don't do it again. No, I'm kidding.
Whitfield, 2 touchdowns. Is he starting to get to it?
He is. That's the thing about Kermit is attention to detail. Because Kermit even sometimes, again, he slipped again, and when he caught a ball and was running out there, I told him I'm going to cut that grass. He's got it up to his knees, and it's daggone tripping him out there. But, he gets so excited, and he wants to do so well, so bad. He has a great heart, and just relaxing and having that poise to get his, I'm going to tell you the best route he ran the whole day. It wasn't the touchdown routes. Best route was the vertical he caught off Everett on a 3rd and 17 early. The leverage that guy had on him, and he used his speed to burst down that field, and the guy had to run, and all of a sudden he stuck his foot and crossed him. I don't care who you are. You're not going to cover the guy. And he's learning to do that, and I'm happy for him because he worked at it, and his confidence is starting to grow, and I want it because if he'll get that confidence and do that, that little sucker's hard. He's hard to handle now. He really is.
What did you think about him last year when it just wasn't clicking? Did you think sometimes it just never clicks with the kid?
You just have to take time. It's frustrating, not that you give up on him, but you know it's there. and you sit there as a coach and say, what button can I push that makes it click? What makes it click for him? How can I get him to see it? How can I get him to do it? How can I get him this, that, and the other? Sometimes it's just doing it over and over and over again, and it's maturity. You know what I mean? Sometimes guys, they'll tell them once or twice, oh, they get it. And other guys, it's not anything wrong with them. It's just each individual's different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like that with lots of guys. I mean, go back and think about KB. I mean, how he struggled that one year. I mean, he made plays, but just the inconsistency and the things that go on, and all of a sudden, I'm gonna do everything right. It's a mindset that they gotta fall into and accept that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And then go do it. I mean, and then that's why people get frustrated. I keep saying it all the time. It's because you have talented players don't mean they're great football players yet. And we're in such a society today that we want it all now. We want it boom, 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 boom. And kids want it. I'm 3 and out. Just develop yourself. And every guy does it at a different pace. But when he does it now, it's pretty.
At his size, what does he need to do to play at the next level?
So, I mean, be a great return guy, great on balls, great in space plays. But see, the thing that makes him his size that can make him different than most slot guys, because he has the ability even because he has pure speed. I mean, he has big time speed. So a lot of those guys that are built like that don't have that top end. You know what I'm saying? He's got great top end. So he can, just learning to run routes, I mean, get off that press, because I'm going to tell you what he is. He's very deceptively strong. You don't realize how powerful he is. He's a shorter guy, but he's not a frail guy, if that makes any sense. He's not on a small, Rashad was on a much smaller bone structure than Kermit is, with power, and learning to use that speed downfield, be the deep ball guy, but then run to where they can change direction so fast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and stick that foot in the ground like he did on that route and just play with his speed without the ball. If he can do that, because when he gets it, man, he makes you go and be a great return guy. But he can do it. And then he'll be a slot reverse, things like that.
The contribution from Bobo, Travis as well, how big was it to get all 3 of those guys? Maybe the most balanced?
It has been. And we were distributing the ball. And again, I keep saying, Bobo silently just keeps playing great football. All those third down catches, all the routes, the digging out blocks, the things he's done. Just hadn't as many opportunities down the field like the other guys have because of coverages. But, I mean, really, really, really playing really sound, good football. And then Travis had a nice day on the day. I was proud of him.
You talked about it a little bit on Saturday, but just what does it mean to you to have the senior class go 47-5?
Well, I mean, it's just a tribute to them, and I'm happy for them because that's what they came here to do. And, they've been outstanding. And I'm just very proud of them and happy for them. But I want them to finish. I want them to finish their careers and try to get that 50.
How good is the strength of some of these young players? You mentioned the maturity that you're noticing now. How good can some of these young players become?
I think they can become outstanding. But again, it's going to be, you know what it is? All those things come back to them. You can say as a coach, you can put all the places, you teach them, you do it. But at the end of the day, how important is it to you? Is it your top priority? People say, what ought to be? Well, when you're 18 and 19, think about all the priorities you had. And you're doing what you do as a profession, you probably wanted it. You always wanted to be writers and things like that. But did you spend all your time doing it all the time? Or a lawyer, whatever you did you always spend all your time doing it? And football, at the level they're trying to play it at, they got school, they got to be good guys, all the things they got to do, and then they got to work on ball. Because other than that, there's not enough time in the day. And it's going to be the key is how important it is to them and not relying on talent, but how detailed they want to be and demanding from themselves at the end of the day. We can demand from them all we want. Like I was saying with Kermit and KB will tell you right now, get texts from those guys in the league all the time. Bobby Hart sent one the other day to Coach Trickett. KB, I've talked to him. I mean, just tell them to listen. Just buy in. Don't waste a year not listening. Just do what you're supposed to do, and it'll all happen for you. And that's, to me, that's going to be the key.
Tom, speaking of those young guys, Derwin James is already second on your team at tackle. He started only half the season. Does he just have a steeper learning curve than most of those guys?
Well, I think he has ability. I think he has physical ability, he has mental ability, and I think he has competitiveness. And I think he's got a certain sense of maturity, which actually has grown. Now, there's one who I think it's grown very quickly in a short period of time. Josh Sweat's the same way. And how they've learned to accept, because everybody said, why didn't Durden start in the beginning? Well, he wasn't ready. I mean, there was too many little mistakes that could cost you games that he would play. Now, he would play and make plays, and you saw the flashes. But you're playing championship football, every little angle, every little coverage, 1 or 2 plays. But you know what he did? Okay, coach, that's what I got to do? Okay. then I got to study more. I got to work more. I got to watch more film. And he did it. See, that tells me it's a priority to him. It's very important to him. It's a passion for him. So that's what I was just trying to answer your question with. And that's where I think I've been the happiest with him. Because, God, he's so gifted. You know what I'm saying? But what he's learning to be is playing. He's learning to prepare without his gifts. In other words, let his gifts take over when it's time. But he's learning to prepare like he has no gifts. And to me, that's when you have great players. When those guys prepare as if they have no ability and do everything right. And then when they're doing everything right, that ability just, it jumps through the screen at you.
Is he a potential leader?
Big time. Natural leader. No.
Yeah.
He ain't no potential leader. He is a leader.
Even now?
He's getting that juice, yes. He has that. He couldn't help not be.
Right.
He's one of those personalities. There's a lot of them in those younger group. And there's more in the younger groups than there are the older groups. And I don't say that. It's just personality types. I mean, a lot of really strong personalities in a good way that really, really, really like to play football.
Jimbo, it seemed like Nate Andrews is starting to look like himself again. I mean,
He is. He's getting healthy. And, guys, Nate, there's another one. You talk about team. You talk about leadership. You talk about doing things right in every phase of his life. You talk about puts his heart and soul into everything he does and does it for the team. I can't sit there and say enough good things about him. And he's getting healthy again, and good things are, I always love to watch good things happen to him.
Do you think Lamarcus Bruce can, get some NFL guys to take a look at him?
Yeah, I think he will. I said this in a crazy way. He reminds me of a guy that played for us at LSU when I was there, a guy named Ryan Clark, in a lot of ways. Similar type player. Ryan had a tremendous career. And we thought he would play. And I didn't know if he'd play that long, but he's had a tremendous career. But you don't know. You don't know what else is up there. And that's been 10, 15 years ago. But Lamarcus Bruce has been a heck of a football player for us, doing a great job.
At the end of last year, he was really picking up.
He did. There's another one. The fourth and fifth year guys that don't hang around anymore, that you don't have many of. You know what I'm saying? The maturity of that. I can't stress how important that is to a team and how much better those guys play when they get it and they're at that age.
Tom D'Angelo?
Yes. Hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Tom.
Jimbo, how is Sean different today than he was in August?
Much different. At that time, there was no doubt Everett was the best quarterback. And I think Everett coming here has been a great thing for us. It really has. It's been a huge thing for us. I think he's played great football. He was the second leading passer in the conference. When it was 6-0, we had a tough loss there on a freak kick at Georgia Tech, and was playing tremendous football for us. You know what I mean? But I think Sean is I think he's relaxed a little bit, as much as anything. And where it's, with the competition, when Everett won it, and he did win it, and then say, okay, I'm going to be the best I can be, but took a little pressure off himself in a weird way of just practicing, getting better, and then when the opportunity comes, just saying, okay, just go play the game. Don't worry about, like I say, kind of like some of the linemen I think did at times and still do, about what can go, trying not to make a mistake instead of trying to make plays. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I ain't so sure losing that hasn't been, in a weird way, the best thing for him in the big picture, to where he's relaxed and now he's playing and you see the abilities he has and what he can do.
So Everett, the best thing for the team, but also, you think did it push Sean? You said it relaxed him, but also the company.
Well, I think it pushed him, but I don't know if Sean was always pushed. Sean, I don't think it was any more effort or any more. I think it was just a relaxation. Say, okay, this is what I can do, and when I get my opportunity, I'm gonna do the best I can. And sometimes just taking a little pressure off yourself, and all of a sudden, the game slows down, and you start making plays. You know what I'm saying? And he's done a great job of that, and he stayed very in tune and in touch with everything we're doing. He didn't fall out of, I get disinterested. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In what was going on. They've been good for each other.
One last thing on Dalvin, and unless he's asked about it, of course when he's asked about it, he answers it, has the trophy questions, but from the story you told before, I'm assuming he's a guy who's not focused on a Heisman Trophy.
Shoot, no. Or a pro career. Because if he was, why would he, when he gets banged and bruised, all those guys, when they're doing that, you see him go lay down and don't come back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This guy, whatever he has to do to be successful, he loves to play. He loves his teammates, what he does to practice, to keep them up, to go block. This guy is about as unselfish as anybody out there. The first time you probably ever heard him say, would you like to go to the Heisman? Well, yeah. Do I deserve it? Well, yeah. He's not lying. And he's not being arrogant. He's just answering the question, yes or no. And I hope we don't take him that way, because he is nothing like that. He's one of the best team guys I've ever been around.
Thanks, Jimbo.
You're welcome.
Jimbo, do you expect him on Saturday? Should he be good to go? Do you
Who's
think
that?
about Dalvin?
Oh, yeah, he's 100%. He feels as good today as he has. Just the way that guy fell real quick on his ankle, it kind of just twisted it, but it didn't swell or it wasn't anything, just come down on it wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Jimbo, what do you think about the lack of Heisman hype around Dalvin? It doesn't seem to be mentioned around some of the other.
I don't worry about it because what's worrying about it going to do? Is it going to help? Me talking about it, is it really going to help? Because everybody in the media and what goes on and who we promote is going to get promoted, what I say or anybody says, and I don't mean that in any disregard. So just go play. Go play, and if it happens, it happens. Do I think he deserves it? Yes. I think he's one of the best backs. I think he's one of the top players in the country. But, that's for everyone else. And I don't hold anybody, that's everybody's opinion, and well, I'm just glad he's on my team and playing football.
As a college football fan, have you always felt that it should be the best player in college football?
Yeah, see, I think that's where we've went wrong with that thing. I really do, excuse me. But I just think isn't that what the award's supposed to be?
Most of it.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. Paul Hornung didn't win a game, didn't he? Didn't he win like one or two games?
Yeah, they had a losing record.
They had a losing record, and he won Heisman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I don't mean, and Paul Hornung ended up being one, it panned out, that was the best player, right? Or one of them. I mean, whatever goes on. To me, I think that's where we get caught up on the winning team and all, and that's it's just the way it's evolved. You know what I'm saying? But that's a shame to me because it's supposed to be an individual award. Team awards, you have individual awards because you're punishing a guy because he doesn't go to the school that wins a national championship or plays for it. Then that's not, that's where I think we've gotten out of whack with it. You got who in here votes? Anybody in here vote?
Blame him.
No, I'm not blaming. I know what I'm saying is, and I wonder, do y'all have conversations about that?
No.
See, that's what I mean. If you're a voting panel, what's the criteria? When you get done, I just wonder what's everybody's criteria and things. And I'm not trying to promote doubt. I'm just saying there may be somebody that hasn't won, 5 games, but he's on a great team. To me, that's the way I always looked at it.
You see that a lot with quarterbacks, where a quarterback's on a great team.
Because people, I think part of that in the future, what's happened with that a little bit is everybody knows how important the quarterback is. So much more important now than it's ever been in the history of football. Because it used to be running backs back in the 70s and the 60s and 70s and even parts of the 80s. Then when we evolved to the West Coast passing games and the Joe Montanas of the world and the Marinos of throwing the football, it just, it started coming out. But football's changed. But I'm not. All those guys are very well deserving. Not in any way, shape, or form. Heck, the best player. Best team gets the national championship. Best players get Heisman.
Jimbo, I think it was a couple of years ago you talked about how SEC teams like Alabama had gotten strong because of the defensive lines, how they built up strong defensive lines. Do you see yours getting that way?
Oh, I think it has been. And I think we put an emphasis on that. You got to control the front. How a team is built. That controls the game, running game, passing game, affecting the quarterback. How the other guys play. You got to be strong in the trenches. You got to be big, you got to be physical, and you got to be strong. And you go back and watch our national championship team with Jernigan and everybody. I'm trying to think of everybody's name now. Dadgummit. I'm getting old. Mario and all the guys up front. Eddie. Those are great times. Florida State had this great run here. Go look at the defensive lineman. If there's one consistent thing, probably defensive lineman over that whole run of time. Look at Miami's run. When you think of the great Miami teams, the defensive lines, Alabama, back even in the day, the great Auburn teams, the great Alabama teams, the great whoever teams, all of them. Got great front guys. That's extremely critical.
You got depth there too.
Yes, and that you got to keep developing. You got to have them. You got to rotate them, and then they're going to get banged and bruised.
Jimbo, I understand you're playing the FCS team this week, but would you like to see any type of uniform rule about whether teams should schedule FCS or leave them off the schedule?
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm for scheduling them. And I'm going to say this. How those guys, I think it's an opportunity for those schools to have equal because they've shown they can win. How about the money in which that brings to their program, the recognition it brings in recruiting, the things that goes on, gives those guys opportunities to do it. And I don't understand what's the problem with it is. And you want to keep, all right, if everybody wants to go schedule games where they're so physical and they're all down to the wire like NFL games, give us more scholarships. Give us more time to treat the kids. Give us more, the beatings and poundings these kids take. You know what I'm saying? Week in, week out. But I think it is. I think it's very rewarding for those teams. I think it's an opportunity for them, and I don't have a problem with it. Now, if you have one, I really don't. I've been on both ends of that. 'Cause I was a 1AA coach and doing it. I mean, some of the biggest things when we were one time at Sanford, we scheduled Auburn. I mean, it was, man, I mean, our kids were ecstatic to have the opportunity to get down there and play against them and test themselves. A lot of them want to be Division I players and see what they were and have that opportunity. That's just my opinion. I've been on both sides of it. And it was a good payday. It helped build our program.
Under this new playoff system where they examine the strength of schedule so much, is it ever a concern that if it came down to it, it might be held against you?
Everybody does it. So how's it held against us? I mean, everybody's scheduling one, right? And I'll be honest with you, they say, well, you can schedule 1As. Some of the 1AAs are better than some of the lower 1As. So, I mean, you know, I think we're splitting hairs there. I mean, because if it gets down to whoever's 1AA schedule was, I haven't seen it get that far yet.
Jimbo, you lost 4 really talented football players off your defense from last year that went early. Why are you guys so much better there this year?
You know, there's a lot of reasons. I always say this, that's why I say talent doesn't always win you games. It's not always the best 11 players on the field. It's the best 11 that play together. You know what I'm saying? And I think, not that they didn't, there were some unbelievable players there, and those guys were tremendous. But this group here has a certain confidence, a unity, cohesiveness that they're playing well together. I mean, that's the thing about sports and team football. It's the guys who play the best together, and then all of a sudden something happens, you get confidence, you get a bond, you get a unity. Not that those guys didn't have it. Those guys were really tight and played great football. But just that we're playing a little bit more consistent this year. I mean, probably and some of these guys are hungry that are back because they didn't feel like they played as well as they should have a year ago and didn't want that things to happen. We learn from history, learn from mistakes.
In your confidence, because you would coach against Charles Kelly when he was at Georgia Tech in the defensive coordinator, you've been here for a couple of years. Your confidence in him never wavered?
No, not one bit. Because what he was doing was sound. What he was doing was right. What he was doing, and sometimes, motivating players and getting players, he was doing a great. But at the end of the day, I say it. Sometimes players got to decide, I'm going to do it, and how consistent I'm going to do it. And we put it back on him. We said, well, the coach has got this magical dust. Well, tell me this. Then why do good parents' kids go bad? I mean, it's the same thing. Or good parents do a great job parenting and your kid does something wrong or he's not consistent for a while, but then all of a sudden he can what? He can come back. The parents didn't change. They kept saying the same thing. The kid just finally what? The light came on. And that happened. I mean, and you're playing so many young guys. And so, you go back to it now. Last year, you're talking about a lot of talented players who were still juniors. All of a sudden now had to step into leadership roles. All right, well, they've been playing great as sophomores, but everybody else did all the other stuff. Now I get 10 more things put on my plate because I got to be a leader, I got to do this, now I still got to play, I got to go to school, and guess what? Oh, I may go to the league. So I'm talking to an agent, I'm talking to this, I'm doing my parents in my ear, there's 15 other distractions, and people don't want to hear that, but that's the facts of life. And all that burden in one thing, and then all of a sudden I'm not focused when I go to the field quite as much, or, yes, I'm going to focus, but I haven't found that happy rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And all those things affect how you play. That's why, when you say the team coming back's got talent, it can be a great team. It can, but it goes back to eliminating the clutter, keeping the main thing, and the maturity to do that.
And on that same line, Brad Long, what do you think he's meant to the defensive front?
Brad's always been a great football coach. I've known Brad a long time. Very sound fundamental coach. Knows what he's doing. The kids have bought into what he's doing, and he's worked with him hard. He gets a great relationship from him, and he's doing a really nice job. He and Odell up front are doing a great job. They work together. The thing about Brad, he's a team guy. Brad understands fronts. He understands those packages, how to rush and do things, and everybody's got their role. And he and Odell do a tremendous job up there, and Bill and Charles do a good job on the other.
Jimbo, to follow up on that, how well the defense played this last week, considering NC State was playing really well offensively coming, was this the best performance of the defense of the season, do you think?
That'd be one of them. I'd have to really think about that, but it definitely was. But I'm going to tell you what, it was by far the best practice week. And it had been coming, I've seen this coming for about 3 weeks. We just kind of just starting to hit that groove where guys are just, getting better and understanding what we want consistently. You know what I mean? And there's more maturity over there. I've been very pleased with them.
What stamp have you tried to put on this team from when you took over years ago up to now?
What stamp?
What have you tried to impart onto this team?
That, don't be outcome oriented, to be process oriented, to understand the ability to prepare, and the ability to play every play like it's your last, and to play it with toughness, effort, discipline, and pride, and create a culture of family between each other, that you care for each other, you play for each other, and you do your job for your team, and you become the best you can be. And understand that there's people counting on you, and you have an accountability and responsibility in all phases of your life, on the field, in the classroom, and as a person, to do the right things. And that's kind of what we just preach over and over and over and over, because it's not about the results. If the process is right, the results will come. And to understand that in life and in this game, if you shortchange it, it's going to bite you. If you don't shortchange it, you'll get everything you want out of it.
Jimbo, in the Clemson game, Jalen had a fourth down stop, and Charles Kelly's on the sideline, loses his mind, celebrating. Odell's.
I'll tell you what, Jalen had to stop, but I'm going to tell you, who made that play first? Jalen and Nate Andrews. Jalen made a big time getting off the block, but you go back and watch how Nate played the dive, feathered the quarterback, held it off till Jalen could get off that block. You talk about, again, there's a thing that's not noticed, and how he got the pitch out at the time when he got it out and not letting it get out quick and making it happen too. If he'd made it happen too quick, and Jalen made a tremendous play getting off the block and then knocked the pee out of the guy, and then Charles was happy as heck. It was a combination of all those things, how they played the play.
What's the defensive coaches, their camaraderie? I mean, them celebrating on the sideline like
Oh, they're tremendous. Our whole staff is very close. We have a very, very close staff. I mean, the coaches and spend a lot of time together, meetings, talking. There's a great camaraderie in our staff. I mean, I love coming to work every day and sitting in the room with those guys. I really do. And they like it too. Spend a lot of time together.
Jimbo, do you ever let yourself during the season think about the future, like next season? Or?
No, I don't in terms of long term, but I do in terms of how I see things done. And if things don't get fixed now, because this guy's going to be here a while, he needs to get this part fixed so his future can be right, or I think this guy can have a huge role in the future for our program, and he needs to get this right, or keep doing this, or in that regard. Yes, from that standpoint, yes. I mean, you're still coaching for the moment, but at the same time, you still have to have a big picture view of where guys are and how their development is and how you're coaching them and what you need to get out of them the rest of this year for the future.
So what you've seen these last few weeks, how good does that make you feel?
Again, I said this. My emotions last week were crazy. And again this week. First, knowing we still got things to get better, we got a heck of a season to finish, but at the same time, watching the growth we've had in the last couple of weeks has been tremendous for me about what I think we can be, and not just what we can be, but I see us going down that path and direction to how we want it done. And the kids, when you talk to somebody, and all of a sudden you can just see in their eyes it's starting to it's click, but it's really clicking about how to prepare, how to practice, how to think, how to do things. You know what I'm saying? And I get that sense, just like I told you about the defense, going in this game. And I've gotten that sense the last couple of weeks about our kids. I really have. And we're far from perfect. There's a lot of things we got to get now, but I can just see it. You know what I mean? It's starting to, it's kind of what I was talking about with Sean a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just starting to click about the big picture of how to play and what to play, and that I can do it, and their confidence is starting to grow, and different things that are happening.
It goes into the hard lesson of having to lose a couple games.
Well, yes, or even if you win close. See, I was hoping you can get them even if you win close. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's losing. I think it's just the ups and downs of life, man. The trials and tribulations of maturity. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and I relate it to if people don't understand it, think about your kids. How long sometimes it took for something to sink in. And you'd say it every day and they'd see you every day. You know what I mean? And you think, well, if they see you every day and live in your house every day and do it every day, why didn't they do it? Same reason your kids didn't do it. It's just something, but as a parent, you know what you do as a coach? You don't ever give up. You don't ever give up, and you just keep sending a message. You find different ways to send it. You find different ways for it to click, whatever it may be.
You ever get caught up in the emotion or pomp and circumstance of senior day ceremonies and everything leading up to it?
Mm-hmm. That's why I hate them. I do. I hate them. And because tell me something that's harder to do than to go out there and all of a sudden you're reflecting on, I love them too, but I'm reflecting on everything that's happened, and this is the last time it's happening and all that, and I got to do all that now. Now go get ready to play again. And the most emotional, to turn it back and forth. I'm telling you guys, I've seen it happen. I've seen there've been some tough scenarios on kids on tough days, and one that sticks out I don't want to mention, but that I think was, for all the right reasons. They went through an unbelievable tough situation and struggled in a game that he normally wouldn't struggle in, and it was disappointing. But he ended up having a great career, and it's, God bless him, he's going on. But it was for the right reasons. I mean, there's so many emotions that go through a kid's mind, and the families and everything to get to that point. I mean, they're because when you see them, that's what I say. I reflect back to the first time you called them, till you saw them, till you recruited them. Imagine what they're going through, and the last time they're ever going to play in that stadium, and what it's meant to them, and what it is, and all of a sudden it's over, and just like it started. It's like when your kids leave home. Think about that as a parent, when your kid leaves home and what goes on, and the amount of emotions that go through, and you know, that's like senior day. It's tough, extremely, because then you have no control over them, and you worry like hell, just like a parent does. They turn them to you. Now you're turning them back to the world and back to everybody else, and pray to God that the things you've tried to instill in them here, even if they haven't clicked all the time here, that they'll later on click. And that's why I love getting those emails and text messages later down the road to Coach. I now understand. I always told them, as you get older, your parents will get smarter. Hopefully I'll get smarter to you. And when you have kids, the whole world's perspective will change to you. The things you used to think are important won't. You know what I mean? And how that goes. And it's just, you know, you just pray that everything goes good for them.
I think this one will be even more emotional for you because of all this group has accomplished.
We'll wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. It's Monday. Let me coach all week.
We good?
Thank you.